Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. Great to speak to you again. We're about a week after the last episode, aren't we? But, drunk again in lockdown and ready to go. And I've been dying to talk about this one so I can move on to the next episode. So we're covering episode 3 of Singletown. Where do you want to start today?
I've got to, unfortunately, Dave, go in on George. We're talking about the end of the episode. He goes on a date and he treats the poor girl with utter contempt, utter disrespect. He was horrible to her. And then he starts crying about his partner afterwards. And I'm like, you are an absolute dick. I just thought it was horrendous behaviour.
Hold on. Get off the fence, man. Just ease us in, man. We just fucking got going again after a week. I can't really disagree with much, though. I wouldn't put it exactly the same way. But do you not think it's weird? 3 episodes in, and he came in balls out. He was gonna, have a good time. He was all super flirty and stuff. He's got um, all the outfits. He dresses very well, like he's on Love Island or something. Can't honestly say he's got the chat. I think he thinks he's got the chat, but it's quite cringy. Quite a lot of the things he says, but fucking hell, this date was straight out of The Office, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this was David Brent goes on a date because fucking hell, he made that poor girl feel like absolute shit. He was making comments like, well, my ex, she's really classy. And the girl's like, what? So you're saying I'm not classy? It's like, well, you're here in a t-shirt, jeans, and trainers, and it's like, oh god, my buttocks were so tightly clenched. It was painful to watch, Chris.
It was, because that's the first thing he said. You've not got high heels on. I was just like, you absolute dick. It's just like, she even said, didn't she, I've got them with me, but she's obviously walking around London. She's not, I mean, let's be honest, the budget of this show, Dave, is about as fucking good as my fucking wage packet every month. So it's not going to stretch very far. And literally, the poor girl's probably had to walk from about Euston Station, about fucking 2 miles. She's not wearing 5-inch heels just for this dickhead. And I just think there's just something not right about this kid. Really has got. He's either been severely hurt, so he acts very arrogant, or he's just totally unaware of people's feelings, and that may be why him and Sophie aren't working at this moment. I mean, obviously, at the end of the series, we'll see how that plays out, but I just don't think. I think he's very immature, and he's 3 years older than Sophie. But I genuinely just keep thinking, he's just a dick. He's so arrogant. She's the one. He should be fighting tooth and nail for her because she's out of his league, Dave. I'm not being funny.
Well, I think there's several things I want to pick up on there, but I think that is the interesting journey that he's been on really quickly. Like I say, we're covering episode 3, but from episode 1, he was bold as brass. And with these shows, I do think this is definitely a bit more Temptation Island, isn't it? With the added twist that they're so-called not trying to remain faithful and stay in the couple. They're almost trying to be single, but you can tell, with all the couples, they're still very preoccupied. They're acting like they're being forced on these dates. It's all a bit weird, but I always have to ask myself with these types of shows, why as a couple do you think going on a reality TV show will fix your relationship? It's bizarre to me. And, for me, Sophie is the best looking girl in there, and she seems really sweet. She seems like quite mature for her age. And yeah, honestly, George was onto a winner. Why would you fucking roll the dice and even chance that? I don't get it. But he seemed all up for it. And I think what we're seeing in this painful to watch date is him suddenly realizing, you know what, the grass isn't always greener, and I think I've fucked up here.
Yeah, I think so as well. Very, very bizarre. Very bizarre. And I think Sophie's not really done anything wrong. I mean, she did go on a date and didn't get in until 2 o'clock, Dave, or after 2 o'clock, because the other her flatmates were like, "Where is she? Where is she?" But she seemed, it didn't look like there's anything going on. It just seemed like maybe she's with somebody who's actually listening to her.
Yeah, so she went on a date with Mason, didn't she? So he's a boxer. Looks like a good-looking lad. Again, there's a bit of a Love Island parallel there, isn't there? He's not quite Tommy Fury, but he doesn't look too dissimilar to him. Um, they'd met at the brunch, and yeah, they seem to have a bit of chemistry there. So I think, if you compare where she is kind of mentally and where George is, I think George is definitely feeling like the loser here, and I don't think we'll see, obviously, but I don't think she's going to look back.
No, I don't. The one thing I'd say slightly in favour of George, Dev, and I totally agree, is I didn't necessarily feel sorry for him, but after like he came back from his date and he started crying and stuff. But I also respect what he said was the fact that he said every time people see my girlfriend walk into a room, Sophie, they look at her and she's on my arm, and I feel proud of that. And you know what, Dave? I'm giving him a bit of shit there, but there was a slight reprieve with what he said because I was like, you know what, fair dues, because a lot of lads that age wouldn't be that honest and be that respectful. It's difficult to say something like that, but she's a stunning girl, and I think he got a little bit back off me for that because he'd left it all out there, but he can't forgive his behaviour before that. Whether he changes through the rest of these episodes, I don't know. But I did give him a bit of something. I wasn't just going to go completely rogue on him.
Yeah, and it's like we always say, isn't it, on our show that we try and call out the behaviour, whether it's positive, negative, and we formulate an opinion based on that. So everyone's a bit grey. There's no one who's 100% a complete dick. There's no one who's completely kind of whiter than white, perfect. Um, but yeah, I agree with you. I think George's behaviour that we've seen in this edited show up to this point has been fairly distasteful and he's not come across in the best light. But you can't help but feel sorry for him when he does have that regret, clearly. And like I say, I think he's seen his arse. I think he's like, fuck, what have I done?
Yeah,
And sometimes, like I say, I kind of question why would you come on a fucking show like this to try and work out your personal problems? It seems like for him, it's been a way for him to realize what he's had. But unfortunately, like I say, I just don't see it ending well. Now, the other thing I wanted to pick up on, Chris, so we joked that this is kind of a Primark fucking Love Island. What, what did you? Actually, I quite like Primark, so I
so
probably
do
shouldn't
I.
make
I've
that.
got it on now.
Poundland, Poundland. I'm gutted. Primark's fucking closed at the minute, to be honest. But Poundland maybe version of Love Island or Temptation Island. What did you make of the cycle round London?
Well, poor Sophie, look, fucked. She was a bit there when they panned to her like they were going uphill. I mean, I've seen that sort of thing before, and I've seen it on different shows, and I've even seen where they've interviewed like big movie stars or pop stars, and they drive on, say, LA or whatever. But they go, they go on like these eight of them, or six, or whatever it is, and they're all cycling away, having a bit of a drink. They look knackered. And Dave, let's be honest, you've lived in London. I haven't. I do travel to London quite regular for work, and I know how busy it is. I was genuinely thinking, fuck me, it looks dangerous as fuck. They went across like a massive road there, bus right up their arse, traffic in front of them, traffic going across. I was thinking, fucking hell, are they that desperate? They're going to plough these fuckers over. And you're right, the budget is. I mean, I thought that was a classic with the fucking boat thing. I thought, you know what, they're not going to get any worse. A jacuzzi on the fucking River Thames with shitty nappies and everything. No, they send him to fucking London on a fucking six wheeler tandem, whatever it is. It, it's fun if it's leisurely, but they genuinely look like they were putting in a bit there, David. Like it was harder than what it seemed.
Probably got a dynamo attached, sort of powering the camera or something. So, yeah, I mean, it's just. I don't know. It seems a little bit of a shallow thing to say, but what I kind of like about Love Island and Temptation Island is the kind of sunny setting, especially when we're in fucking lockdown and you're stuck in your house most of the time. So yeah, I quite I quite like that setting, but yeah, this just seemed like what the fuck? Can you, not show us the budget in this way? Just send them on a picnic or something like that. But I don't know. One thing I do like about this is it's not only the couples who have apparently split up, so they refer to them as their exes, but they're not. They're still kind of couples. It's the flatmate bonds as well. I kind of like that. It sort of takes me back to the day, of house sharing and stuff. So I do like that aspect to it. But Chris, what I wanted to talk about next. So we've got Charlie and Elliot. So again, they've clearly got their problems. We get Charlie, he goes on a date with Hayden. We'd seen in the last episode that they talked that they don't have similar backgrounds, but they've had similar experiences and just not really having a support structure around them that accepts who they are. And so I think Charlie and Hayden seem to be getting on quite well. I mean, what do you make of that pair?
Really well, to be honest, Dave. There's something there. And I did think at one point they were going to go in for a kiss. Hayden seems really sweet on Charlie, doesn't he? A bit of flirting, a bit of backwards and forwards. But then Charlie got really upset as the episode went on, didn't he? He really, when he came back, he got really upset and went off into like the bathroom. But I think there's something there. I really, really do. But I don't. What I keep thinking is it genuine from Hayden or is he just doing it to get on TV? That's the only thing that I don't know. He just seems to be playing into into Charlie what Charlie wants to hear, and I hope he doesn't.
Mm,
But I can't put my finger on it. They look sweet. There is no reason to doubt that. It looks like there's something there between them. However, I'm not sure whether it's more Charlie than Hayden at the moment.
mm. Yeah, I think there's still a lot of emotions to there are still a lot of emotions to untangle, aren't they? It seems to me like Elliot's sorry, Charlie's getting out of those discussions, those chats with Hayden, the things that he doesn't feel like he's getting out of his chats and connection with Elliot. And equally, I think I think even more has got that connection with Mitch. And so I don't know though, because it's one of those, isn't it? When you've been with someone for a long, long time, you start to see all the negative things about that person. And so when someone different comes along, then you know when you're measuring those negative things, and that new person doesn't have those negative traits, they seem great, but there's clearly still a lot of deep emotions between them. I can't call it which way it's going to go, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, and I think Dave, there's a lot of episodes to go. They may get other people in to go on the dates as well. It doesn't necessarily specifically be them if it goes down that route. But I think just want to touch slightly what you said about being like a Poundland Primani type show, being a connoisseur of reality shows. And I know Dave that you're catching up these days with the reality stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And is you do see when you watch a reality show that's on, say, I mean, this was on ITV too, but say you watch one on a random Sky channel or on Virgin, and you go on it, and you can tell straight away that, like I've just said, they're on my wages fucking budget. It's literally he's scrimping and saving, but that sometimes is better. Like I watch one, I've watched it from the beginning, I absolutely love it. I mean, Sam don't watch it now, but I watch it on my own. He's a beef a weekender, and basically that's been going for years. That's a great one. So you've got 4 or 5 reps. There's one that one of them runs it. The other 4, they're all like it's all set up. They're actually at a proper hotel in Ibiza. They take it over to a point on a certain part of it, and then you get 2 couples turn up for the weekend. So you get 2 lads or 3 lads, 2 girls, 3 girls, and basically they're trying to get them all together. Most of the time, the guests end up getting off with all the reps. But the budget isn't massive. Obviously, they're sending these people on a holiday for the weekend. And that's where the budget stops. They'll take it to clubbing and that, but like you can just tell it's never been about the budget on this. It's more about the people, and you can get away with it on this where they're trying to find love or trying to find if they still love that other person. It
Mm.
just seems it was like we blew all our money on Love Island. Let's just try and throw something out there as an alternative. And I'm loving it. I'm loving watching it. And what I said in the last episode still stands. I like the fact that the normal people. There's no. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
just tell that they seem like normal people while this was filmed, and that's what I like about the show.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's definitely right. I mean, it is kind of refreshing because when you watch Love Island, you've got these sculpted bodies, these Instagram wannabe famous models, and yeah, this just seems like real people. I mean, they're all pretty good looking as well, but they're normal good looking, not like Instagram and want to, the blokes spend fucking 2 hours getting ready for the evening, with the face mess and mud mess and whatever. So yeah, no, I really like it. Now, Chris, I want to talk a little bit about. So we've got Natasha and Luke as a split up couple or what have you, but I mean, Luke goes on a date just by the Thames with Anna, who turns out she's a glamour model, and he seems to get on pretty well with her.
Yeah, well, with that date, Dave, what was interesting was it starts really well, and I love the voiceover guys talking away, and then she starts talking about predictions that she makes, and all the boil and trouble, and dropping spiders and cauldrons and stuff, and you can see Luke there, like, all right, okay, it was interesting. I'm not 100% sure. I do think it's more Luke is the one that he's the one who's not sure. She wants the baby. She wants the life, doesn't she? And that's whether he wants to do it. And he's older than her. He's 5 or 6 years older, isn't he? So, um,
Yeah, he just seems like he's just not asked, doesn't he? So she's looking for some sort of commitment, but I almost, you quite often have a male female divide, don't we, with these kind of hetero relationships. But in this case, I'm kind of feeling for Natasha because you can see she's looking for some sort of commitment, and he's just not asked one bit. And it's sort of like, yeah, I can sort of see where she's coming from there.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I think that's a very good point. To be honest, I sort of hope for Natasha that something does happen, and she gets with someone. She wants the life. I mean, she's quite young to want that commitment, Dave, and that sort of thinking. But if she feels she's ready for it, then fair fucks to her. You know what I mean? I'm just not sure whether he's the guy for it at the moment. Whether that changes, I don't know.
Yeah, and it was interesting because he was trying to play it all cool with Anna, and but he was saying like, well, what we're going to do for the second date because there is going to be one, So he was quite sure about, he definitely wanted that second date. So again, I don't know. I think Luke's head could well be turned there. I think Luke did better though in terms of matching someone up than Natasha, who went on a date with Aussie gym rat Adam. Now, turns up in his fucking sleeveless gym top, and the guy is fucking ripped, obviously, but fancy fucking turning up for a first date in like something that you'd look like you're working out at the gym at. And she was all dolled up to the nines and stuff. It just struck me as really odd.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I don't know if it's an overconfidence on Adam's part, or I'm not sure, but what I don't know about you, Dave, but as I watch this, and it's great TV. It's a great little reality show. To be fair, I know I've had a bit of a joke in that, but is I'm more engaged in what's going to happen with the couples watching this because they're in proper relationships, or they have been in proper relationships and they've split up and stuff like that. And I think with Love Island, when they get together, I know like Tommy and Molly May have totally proved me wrong. I thought that was a right waste of time and he should have stayed with Lucy. They're still together. They've got, they are loved up and stuff. So I was completely wrong there. But none of the others I ever believe. I always say to you when we're watching Love Island, 3 months later, the OK deals, the opening of a fucking crisp packets stopped coming in, so they can't make any money. Oh, we've agreed to split. We're going to remain friends, though. All that bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
With these guys, I have a genuine concern and a genuine interest. Some might like say George, I'm just not into at all. George and Sophie, I just don't like that kid at the moment. But I don't think necessarily Sophie deserves that. So whether they work, obviously we're only seeing snippets in the show. But yeah, I like the concept of this, like Temptation Island, because they are actually genuinely couples. So I think I've had more investment in how it turns out. With Love Island, I just love shitting on it because it's just a farce. It's like a peacocking show, but who can get the most money afterwards. But with this, there is an investment in it.
I think and I agree, and I'm glad we kind of stumbled across this one because it is a really interesting one. The only thing that just irks me a bit is how they're talking and they make a thing about their exes, but they're clearly not their exes. They still feel like, they're in that relationship. So I don't know whether it's like a rights thing. They've got to show that it's significantly different from Temptation Island. Well, I guess it's not an island for a start, but it's just I don't know. It's a stupid little thing that shouldn't bug me, but it does. That they're clearly not exes. They're still in that relationship. They've just got shit to work out, and they've come in here to sort of test whether they'll really work on the back on the outside. But no, really, really interesting, Chris. We've done our 3 episodes. It was 15 in total, isn't there? So I can't call these couples, but at the minute, I couldn't with any certainty tell you any of these couples who are strong enough to get through it.
Yeah, I'm like that with you. I'm with you on that, Dave, completely. Now, Dave, we've had an email in from one of our listeners.
Yep.
A couple of emails actually from I love the name Callie Nolan. Suggestions for the podcast. So she obviously listens, and we're asking what people get out there we can get into. And she went, "Hey guys, love the pod. Just a suggestion for another show you could talk about after you finish Singletown. It's Killer Camp, a 5-episode reality show that aired last year on ITV2 around Halloween. Really love this show and love to hear my favourite podcast talk about it. So thank you for that, Callie. I think I watched this, Dave. I remember watching it. They were basically like in it together, like big couples and stuff. And I'm sure me and Sam watched it because I replied to Callie saying that. Like I'd
Well, let's
watched
do
it.
a simple test. Is it a reality show?
Yes.
Has it been on air?
No, just stop there, Dave. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you fucking watched it.
Probably. But then, however, however, I replied to her saying I'll have to speak to Dave. And then Kelly come back with cheers, not to annoy you, but I've had a second suggestion I've got to include. You should watch Survival of the Fittest. Well, I think it was Survival of the Fittest that I've genuinely watched. And he said, which was ITV2's first experiment at Winter Love Island. It's very similar to Love Island. It has the same production crew and company, and it's set in South Africa. I have 100% watched this. And it was hosted by Laura Whitmore before she became, obviously, the Love Island host this year, sadly. She just put, basically, it's Love Island focused on boys v girls contest based on strength and fitness. Now, I watched this, day because there was a girl on it. I actually saw her in the Trafford Centre a couple of months ago. She's from Manchester. She was a twin. And she was proper fit, like as in physically fit, not just like good looking fit. They're all like athletes, couples who are in
Yeah,
athletes,
yeah.
like PTs or supreme athletes. I think she was a power lifter. And we watched it, me and Sam. It was really good, actually. It was quite a good show, and it was a bit like Love Island. And there was a bit of like couples splitting and kicking off and that, but it was mainly around like they said, a bit like the task on Love Island, but instead of like where they might be like going through a mud bath or something in Love Island or like throwing water bombs, we're talking about and going like on a 2-mile run or if I can remember right,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
doing like the rope battles and things like that, and so it was a bit more intense because they were just like elite, these people. But it did bring enough drama, and the setting was lovely. It was a really, really nice little place. I can't remember where it. Oh, it must be South Africa, but it was a lovely, lovely place. But I don't think it's available, and that's what Kelly said. I don't think it's available now on the catch up. I'd have to have a look, but
Yeah, so I couldn't find Killer Camp either on ITV2 catch up, but I guess because it's kind of Halloweeny, it's probably they'll take it off and then they'll put it back on for Halloween.
yeah,
So we'll probably still be in fucking lockdown in October, so we can maybe look at it then.
yeah.
But have you been watching anything else, Chris? It's still walking through, kind of married to the medic.
We've finished Married to Medicine, Dave. 126
Oh, the
episodes.
medicine, yeah. 100, you
But
fucking maniac.
but there is a spin-off, Dave, where the
Oh my
girls
god.
from Married in Medicine Atlanta go to Married in Medicine LA, and they sort of into the first episode they introduce a few people who are friends of a couple of the doctors who studied with them, and now we've got Married to Medicine LA 2 series to go through, Dave, and we're 2 episodes in.
Well, other stuff, I mean, I've been watching. So I really enjoyed like the Australian second season of the Australian Married at First Sight, and they had like about 12 different couples in there who got married, and it's all the science behind coupling these people up. But it was just a fucking shit show, there's different affairs going on between these different 12 couples and stuff. And so it was proper good drama. Great bit of English that day, but yeah, it was brilliant. Now we've gone back on the catch up to watch the first season. I think it originally started in Denmark, but the first UK season, and it's a bit more kind of, it's more focused on the science, and they only sort of paired two couples up. And so it's sort of following them through, going through the whole process of like trying to match them up and stuff based on their psychological profile, what their habits are and experiences and all that sort of stuff. And then they get married, and then it's sort of following them and seeing how they do. But it's not, it's interesting, but without the drama. So I'm going to continue with my research, Chris. I'm going to look at some of the later seasons. But for us, it's got to have a bit of drama in it, hasn't it?
Well, Dave, I've got something potentially up my sleeve for us, actually. Now, leave it with me. It's just come to me as we're
If
talking.
it starts with fucking Housewives of something, fuck right off. I couldn't fucking believe that. Did you see that? I put it on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like ITV suggests you might be interested in this, Housewives of Cheshire. Fuck off. Just because I watched one episode.
The algorithms will get you, Dave. I'm telling you. But no, genuinely, I have got something I saw that I think we may need to go back and watch, and we've never seen it. But let me investigate first. And I don't want to, because we've not even talked about this. It's literally as we're thinking out loud and going off Callie's email. I think I've got something for us, Dave. So leave it with me, and I'll come back to you for the next episode.
All right. Well, again, keep the suggestions coming in. We'll need to make sure that we can actually watch it and go through it. And yeah, I still say, Chris, I fucking want to go back and watch There's Something About Miriam, but I'm pretty sure we won't be able to get that anywhere. But,
you know what? That'd be a great one to go back on. We said that you've mentioned that before. Yeah, that would be a good one. Right. Leave it with me, David. Leave it with me today. I'll see what I can do.
Watch this space. Well, Chris, it has been fantastic to speak to you again. I will throw out a quick plug, actually. So, I mean, of the multiple podcasts that we do. So Bachelor South Africa is still going strong. So we're down to 3 girls now. So, we had one girl leave again last night. And so, yeah, I think there's just going to be one episode left. So it's been a lot of fun, getting a lot of interaction on Instagram with that one. So, yeah, if you're interested in that, and again, there's no fucking Love Island or anything, which is why we're exploring all these other shows, get across to Bachelor Banter and have a listen to that one.
And also, if you are a bit, you do like the sound of myself and Dave, we do have other podcasts. So we've got Comics in Motion, which we go back and review comic book-based movies and TV shows. And we have the VHS Strikes Back, where we just go back. And at the moment, we're just stitching each other up with some of the worst movies. We have had some belters the last couple of weeks, but anything from the VHS era backwards. And we've just done 7, which was a great review. So seek out the VHS Strikes Back. And then also, I might as well plug away on a new one I'm doing separately from Dave, and is the Wrestling Gold podcast, which is basically my love of old school wrestling, and I get different guests on talking about it. At some point, Dave is definitely going to come on, and we just do about an hour chatting. So that's Wrestling Gold on all podcast catching apps as well, guys.
I mean, the wrestling, it's kind of like Love Island, isn't it?
Exactly.
So you've got a bunch of blokes and drama.
Yeah. Heaven, Dave, heaven.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the women only came in later, didn't they? They came in well after I'd stopped watching wrestling.
Yeah, I think it was Miss Elizabeth and Sensational Sherry. That was it, Dave, when we were growing up.
Are they fucking what? Miss Elizabeth and Sensational Sherry? Are these fucking strippers or wrestlers?
No, that was Miss Elizabeth was Macho Man's wife, and she used to come to the ring with Macho Man. And then Sensational Sherry then took over from Macho Man when he fell out with his wife. But anyway, that's wrestling drama, Dave. It'd take another episode to talk about that.
Awesome. Well, Chris, it's been a delight. Again, we'll try not to let it go so long without covering episode 4, but I can't wait to go and watch that one now and see where these relationships are going.
Good stuff, mate. Right, take care, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Bye now.